Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It is the 8th of November, 2019. It is the 8th of November, 2019. Halloween was just a week ago. 1 week ago, and there's ice on the streets where I live right now. We're in the first week of November, and there's already ice. It was cold enough that the streets iced up. The waters in the puddles iced up. So for all those people that like to stick with things like fear porn, you need to wake up, because the weather as a weapon is something I've shown all the patents, all the quotes, all the military paperwork, all the Air Force, Navy, Army, all the paperwork over the years, okay? The weather can bring a country, a people to its knees, and that's exactly what they're going to do. I've never seen it this cold. I was bitching last year because it was in the 40s and 50s way prematurely. Same thing this year, except this year, ice and freezing weather is coming. So don't want to say I told you so, but here it is. And be ready. I am telling you to be ready. I'm telling you to be ready. Or don't. But I have a hard time saying the or don't part on that particular one. What is up, Linda Perez? What's up, Ike Diaz, Betty R, Allison Faye, Dan Hightower, Vernon Daniels, Crescent, is that right? Crescent Kavanaugh, Blue Nose, what's up, brother? Broken Reality is in the house as per usual, and she has the wrench. Do not mess with that girl. Dragonfly 65, Catalina Sanford, what is up? Awakened by the Looking Glass Reflection, what's up, man? Organic Mechanic, what is up, dude? Lady Liberty Speaks, Derek Lemire, I think. Lacius Lace, what's up, y'all, from Texas? Lacey is awesome. Michael Vincent, Mark Sherry, Missy Wheeler, Harmony, Tim Zeller, I think that's right. Dom S, Manny Aveles, dude, I can't say that because I'm an idiot. Jenny Bean 79 has the wrench. I'm telling you, cold, right? Ernest Guzman, freezing, frigid, really bad weather takes the fight right out of the enemy, which is the first reason they used it, Operation Popeye in Vietnam. They flooded out the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Do you see what I mean? You don't understand how bad weather is unless you see it absolutely used and wielded like a sword. And that's exactly what they do. Fortunately, Super Dave 44 is here. I can see you up here. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. What's up, Mark Stump? Working in a cotton gin. I don't know what that even means, but there you go. Mike Decker, what is up, brother? Mike Decker must have a wrench. I believe he does. He does. There you go. See that? Broken Reality. I think that's good. What is up? Nitrum T from Australia. What's up, brother? We got a lot of people in Australia and New Zealand and England and Ireland. Not a lot of Russians, but several. And all of them are military. And all of them look at our military and just shake their head. Shake their head. Sad, 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 sad. All right. Brandon, the big Sib, may pop in. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I just thought I'd have him jump in and give me his point of view on the absolute craziness with the last several days where I've been talking about nothing but Satanism, sex, and children, and they're all three in the same breath, basically. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Scotland in the house, another one from Australia. What is a broken wrench? It's actually Broken Reality, and she has the wrench. She is a moderator. She moderates moderately, so there's that. Indeed. All right, so let's see what we're going to pull up here first. All right. One of my subscribers sent me this. This is old news, but you know what? I'm going to pop it up right now because I think it applies. And I guess to me, what I think is old news and what is old news may be two separate things. Here we go. This is from August, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Yep, August 31st, 2019. The U.S. unleashes the military to fight fake news and disinformation. That is an enormous shot across the bow, because right after this news story popped up is when the president of the corporation of the United States, because yes, that's what it is, Donald Trump, Donald Trump said that people like myself and many others are basically domestic terrorists, people that don't like climate change, the global warming, the Arctic, they're melting. Really? Well, then let's move them down here to Massachusetts because it's freezing down here. It's freezing down south. It's freezing at least 30 days prematurely. At least. Every once in a great while, we would get snow on Thanksgiving, and that was only if Thanksgiving was late. The 7th of November, freezing cold. Freezing. Ice. Ice, baby. Oh, ring, ding, ding, diddling, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Sorry, I had to. I loved that song when it first came out way back in the day. I couldn't believe it. So there is that. All right, so here we go. I showed you this story from August 31st, 2019. The military is going to be used to fight people like me and you. So this is the reason that after you watch a Call for an Uprising, you watch a Face Like the Sun, a Richie from Boston video, it automatically goes to Fox News or something like that. That's not how an algorithm works. It should go from genre to genre, but instead it goes directly from us, which was the alternative news, which was literally putting them out of business, straight over to them. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's that. But let me remind you of this. See this, the military is going to fight fake news on social media. But apparently they forgot about this because let me show you this. Remember I reminded you about this? This is the military. You see this right here?
This video obtained by ABC News appears to show the fury of the Turkish attack on the border town of Tel Aviv. A border town bombarded by Turkey's military.
This video right here appearing to show Turkey's military bombing Kurd civilians in a Syrian border town. The Kurds who fought alongside the U.S. against ISIS. Now, horrific reports of atrocities committed by Turkish-backed fighters on those very allies.
Yeah. So that is fake news, but also, in my honest opinion, and after talking to a couple of guys that actually did psyops in the military, they put this out here knowing that people were going to figure it out, and people did figure it out, but they didn't do it by accident. Like, let's try to slide one by them. They said, hey, in order to check the temperature and the awareness levels of Americans and their ability or resolve to fight back, let's put out a blatantly fake story, which is exactly what this is. This is amazing to me. This is a crime, actually. It's amazing that the United Nations didn't have to step in. But ABC News presenting to the world this footage and claiming Turkey was attacking Syria is a crime. But they wanted to see what would happen. What would people do after they came out and said, oh, yeah, oh, son of a gun. You know, our job is news. All we do is news. All we talk about is news. Let's tell them that we screwed up and then see what they do. And the answer was some of us made videos. Some of us got really pissed off, but nothing happened. Regular people didn't wake up. Regular people didn't miss a beat. I didn't hear anybody that wasn't in this circle right here, meaning you guys, not this circle in front of me, say shit about it whatsoever at all. So that's what this is. That was one of their tests. It's something that you would have to do to see. You have to set a benchmark to see where people are at. You know what I mean? And that's exactly how these two tie together. Is that just my opinion? Well, it's my opinion and also the opinion of guys that are still military active duty right now that are awake. They can't get out of the military because of their contractual obligations, but they do understand that this is real. And that's exactly what that entire thing was right there. So there's that. All right, let me pull this down real quick because it's getting awfully southern in here right now. I haven't heard from this fella in a while. All right, unmute, and you are in. What's up, brother?
Hey, Richie, how you doing, brother? I made
it. Yourself? I appreciate. I gave you no notice. You know, I already had this all set up. I got about 15 stories up here, and I said, you know what? The last two live streams, I don't know if you had an opportunity to catch either one of them, but long story short, it was basically Satan in school, transgendered people in school, drugging your children, 8 million children being drugged, and the Satanic Temple is trying to be a 501c3 charity, and they want to introduce your children to Satan in school. The last 2 live streams, totaling about almost 2 hours, was nothing but sex, children, and now kids can go topless in 6 states as long as they're over 10 years old. It's no longer illegal. Dude, it's journalization of the hierarchy. Anyone? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, it's the revelation of the method, right? They're not hiding anymore. They're out in the open with the agenda. And of course, this is all about hedonistic. Of course, it's the hive mind, right? As we move forward, as they relate morality and destroy the moral compass, and everything's about do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And they're making it wide open, and they're hiding nothing. It's right here in your face.
It's absolutely unbelievable. It's astounding to me that I have family members that I deal with pretty much every day, at least a few times a week, and they're all about talking about the New England Patriots, or Donald Trump said this. Like, they stay up on the news like every average American citizen. Their idea of being aware, understanding what's going on, is regurgitating to anyone they bump into what they heard on the sports show that morning, or CNN. Well, I mentioned the transgender fella dressed up as a, it's drag queen story hour, which they didn't even know that was a thing, which amazes me. I said, you have a fella dressed up like a demonic looking woman because he's in drag. And then he opens his legs, and there happens to be a photographer right behind this little girl's head who catches a perfect picture of his penis as he opens his legs. And I said, the amazing thing is 0 charges were put on this guy. And as a matter of fact, the next drag queen story hour is now themed. It's going to be drag queen on ice. And I found it strange because I woke up this morning on the 8th of November and there's already ice on the ground. Puddles are already frozen over, man. That doesn't happen this early in November. Well, so go ahead. I know that's a lot.
They set this up, though, over 50 years ago with the Kinsey Institute and things of that nature, right? They already knew then that they were going to reduce criminal acts against little children. I mean, it's been in the plans for a long time, right? The Alice Bailey's 10 points agenda, make art run mad, hypersexualize children, remove the innocence, destroy morality, break up the family unit. And another huge issue in this paradigm is destruction of the alpha male. And the reason for that, the destruction of the alpha male brings protection. He brings the analytical side of the male and female counterpart. So if you destroy the alpha and you make everything betas, you've really just you've essentially, and of course that gets back into the alchemical process too, right? Remember, their whole plan is not about base metals; it's about base humanity, the merging, the Baphomet, the solvent coagula, and the coagulation and the destruction of all truth and morality is really what they're after.
Yeah, you're putting it out there really, really nicely. I love how much information you're able to retain and then represent in a Southern drawl so nicely. For those, before you ask, this is Brandon's YouTube channel. It's called The Big Sib. There should be more people subscribed to this by the time I recheck it tonight, but I will leave links in the comment section pinned below. And speaking of that, for whatever reason, and I'm not exactly sure why, maybe it's because of the cell phone platform or whatever, I put up a video on 10 really cheap things to do to prepare, and people are like, Richie, you didn't leave links. But actually I did. It's pinned right here at the very top. But I guess if you check it on a tablet or an iPhone, you might not see it. But they are right here. But to be perfectly honest, you don't need links to get 10 easy things because they're all 10 easy things. It's toilet paper, it's hand lotion, et cetera, things that were multi-purpose. So there's that before anybody asks.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it was going to quicken the way it has? Because in the last few months, the last several months, the children, Satan, and sex seem to be, I can pull up 15 links, new ones every single day on this exact topic. And America doesn't seem to be outraged.
No, I actually, if we go back just 2 years, I think I'm even quoted as saying in one of my studies that I thought we had until about the year 2025. That was my calculations at that point in time. Just because the overarching agenda of 2021 and 2030, I knew they were ahead of time frame, and I figured it would meet somewhere in the middle. But of course, that was before I really had a real clear picture of how the overall system operated. I still had a little faith in that time in the fact that maybe voting mattered and things of that nature. But of course, I'm way past that now, where I completely see that the system isn't broken, folks. If you really understand this, the system is operating exactly as it was intended to operate, and that's the truth. I see it speeding up now, but of course that's what happens as a snowball rolls downhill, Richie. It's picking up steam. There's no way to stop this. It's coming, and there's no way that we can derail it now. It's here and it's upon us. And I advise people to start learning things. Just to speak on your sharing of the 10 quick tips. There's a reason why I'm teaching my sons how to hunt. There's a reason I'm teaching my sons how to fish. I'm training my boys how to tie knots, just all kind of things that you need to know how to do to survive in this world. Start doing it. And this is the point in time to do it. You can click on YouTube and go how-to videos. I've got to do that just about every time I crank up a computer. That's my weak point. But still, folks, start gaining knowledge. Knowledge will be your friend.
Well, you're getting there, brother. You're definitely getting there. So no worries. Your live streams are getting better and better every time. So, and it's a tough one for you because you said it's a weak point. I have 2 computers running at all times now. So I'm editing and watching usually some incredibly feminine dude that I can barely stand listening to explain to me how to edit. So it sucks, but I do what I got to do. And then YouTube pulled the plug right as you started live streaming. So you had to learn how to do it all on another platform.
Yeah, I mean, I got to use Google Hangouts one time, and that was it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. YouTube takes it away, but then they're still completely involved because last night they were just censoring the stuffing out of my. I looked over and I'm like every other comment was censored. We're Americans. We're in America. I'm on a platform that I'm literally paying to use just to talk to people on a platform I'm not allowed to monetize anymore. You know what I'm saying? 340,000 subs, and they take your monetization overnight with 0. I mean, not that any of my videos were ever actually eligible, but it was the point.
Right.
You know, hey, you didn't do anything wrong. Your guidelines, you're all good. You don't have any copyright strikes, but we've made a decision. So that's great. But they've also decided that they're going to monitor they're monitoring the comment section and just flagging random stuff that people are saying. It's amazing to me. It's totally amazing. And the regular people that we would need to have the numbers to actually stand up the way people always say, why don't we just stand up? They're not going to wake up until the trucks are in front of their house. They really are, man.
They're not. They're not. The masses. And of course, this is part of the conditioning it's really about hero worship, right? That's really what it boils down to. You're always looking for someone else to do what you should do. If not you, when? I mean, if not me, who? If not now, when? It should be the mindset of everybody in this world today. You're not going to change this world. It's going to crumble. It's going to happen. But there's no point in having a negative outlook on that. You can only control you and your immediate surroundings, and your mindset shouldn't be a negative one at all. But know that the mass is just like when we speak to them. And I speak from experience. When I discuss this stuff or anything or try to break through most people conditioning, and I say this all the time also, you have to empathize with these people. You bring up certain topics, man, you can see the cognitive dissonance in their eyes. They glaze over like a deer in the headlights. And it's just so foreign to them that they can't handle the information. They can't handle the new information that destroys their paradigm, because the truth forces you to go get in the mirror and start changing yourself. Well, in a self-absorbed, narcissistic, sociopathic society, most men and women don't have the will to change themselves. And that's seriously where we're at.
Indeed, indeed. You know what just struck me while I have you on? This is a good one. This just popped. I'm not sure if you've seen this as of yet. And if you haven't, it's no big deal. But let's just gloss over this. And where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right here. House Resolution 1111. The bill establishes a Department of Peace Building in the executive branch dedicated to peace building, peacemaking, and the study and promotion of conditions conducive to both domestic is first, and international peace and the culture of peace. What does that sound like?
That sounds, when you get into international, you know who we're talking about. This is going to be the protection of Israel is what this is going to be. Let's see. Let's read that. This bill establishes a Department of Peace Building. We're starting to get into like the Ministry of Peace, the Ministry of Truth, George Orwell's 1984.
Bam, bingo, right there. I don't know how many people at home just saw this right now and said the same thing. This is Orwellian.
Yeah,
just the wording in it. The Department of Peacemaking, and they put domestic first.
Yeah, this is that classic double speak, right? So the masses will see this and it seems like it says something good, but really this isn't saying anything at all. This is lawyers speak and double speak, and I mean such loose wording, and of course this is why I'm stickler on choosing my words wisely. This can mean anything to anybody who interprets it any way they want to. This means nothing.
All right. Well, there it is then. Let me get it out of the way then, because it's hard to read. But
no, and it's intentionally done that way. So because remember now, what we've set up now is now we can interpret, these magistrates can interpret what shall and not means. Well, and if we weren't in a banana republic, shall and not it's unchangeable, right? This is set in stone. Now they can take this Ministry of Peace deal and they can apply it any way any magistrate interprets it. That's just it's just the way it is. And I want to bring something up too. I was thinking about something today before I forget. I want people. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I know how these things work, but I want people to know that November means 9, which of course it's the 11th month, right? But November means 9. Tomorrow, that would be 9, and then November would be 11, and then tomorrow's 11/9/2019, and this whole little deal setting up on this football game with Trump and everything else is a perfect opportunity. For things to happen. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for tomorrow. I just wanted to put that out there. Something that's been weighing on my heart all day. I don't know if anything's going to happen, but I see these numbers and it makes me wonder.
All right. Well, it would also be a perfect example of Aleister Crowley, where take 9/11 and turn it around backwards. Learn how to talk, learn how to walk, learn how to do everything forwards and backwards, as above, so below, and apparently side to side.
When I see the law of reversal like that in these numbers, I really start paying attention. I don't find it often. But of course, you've got Thelema in it twice too, with the 39 and 93. So it's a big number date. It's just always something. When they take control of a big event like this, anything can happen.
November is always a tough month, man. And like I said,
they named it correctly, right? It's the fall. It's of course to them that's the fall of the sun, as the sun, the Apollyon worship and everything else too. We can get into that another day, but heading towards the winter equinox of December 21st. But whatever, we can go anywhere else you want to go. I just wanted to get that out there. Something that's been weighing on my heart all day.
But dude, you never have to apologize for it. We're not pushing fear. If I walk through the world. I drive through this world. Brandon's freaking out. Look at this. He's throwing shit around. He's pissed. So anyways, whenever I move through this world, I am incredibly highly aware of my surroundings, and being aware of something like tomorrow being 9/11 in reverse is something to be aware of, especially when the stage appears to be set.
Yeah.
The problem is, and here's something else actually to bolster what you just said. the whole 11-3 thing that blew up, and everybody's like, oh my God, this guy that makes food in Germany made a video and he's right. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me, but that could be something, because you cry wolf, you cry wolf, you cry wolf, and then nobody sees it coming when it is coming. Just be aware of your surroundings. And when you leave your house, do what I tell you all the time. Don't forget the morning of 9/11. None of us saw that coming. None of us saw that coming whatsoever at all. And remember the Boston Marathon bombing. People were not allowed in or out of their own houses in Boston for an entire day. You can't go in your house. When did you give up that right to go into your own house? Who gives? It's amazing, because I used this in a video the other day. Brandon's explained all this stuff. This is what I love about this kid, is he breaks down the law and explains it. And I didn't even think of this ever. You go to the registry and you tell them, yep, you're basically consenting that I'm illegal. I need you to give me a driver's license so that I can drive on this green earth that God gave me dominion over. But I need to pay you so I don't break the law. I love this stuff, and it's completely and totally true. And it's amazing how far it's gone, man. It's amazing how far it's gone. How many times do you consent a day without even realizing it? RGM Law, shoot me an email, will you, again, brother? Thank you.
It really is. It's set up that way, and the conditioning is set up too to make us cry wolf until we fade. And make no mistake about it, they gauge the interest through this internet and the social data and everything else. But I want to draw attention to something about this event that really, whether anything happens or not, the normalized police state and the ability to tell 400, 500,000 people that you need to show up 4 hours early because our president's going to be there. And now we're going to pretty much strip search everybody coming into the stadium, and people just don't care. As long as they go get their Roman bread and circus, they don't care, man.
At all. I've been stressing it a lot lately, and I think you've gone over this before. I'm not exactly sure, but it's amazing to me how they named Hollywood. Hollywood is what a magician, a witch, a warlock would make their wand out of. They would make it out of the wood of a holly tree. Broadcasting, they're casting broadly, they're programming, they're saying it to you back in the day. Charlie Chaplin, all this stuff right here, all these people that started Hollywood, all these people that started acting, theater, all this stuff, they were all considered the same thing as carnies.
Yep.
Carnies. You know, the creepy guy. And sorry if you're a creepy asshole that works at a carnival, it happens, but you know what I'm saying, because if you work there, you know what I'm saying. These were creepy people that were usually ne'er-do-wells, drug addicts, alcoholics, people that couldn't have a regular job, career, life, whatever. They traveled the country assembling rides and so forth and so on. Well, actors were considered the same thing, because what do they get awarded for? Pretending to be something that they're not. The ultimate liar. And then in the last 10, 15, 20 years, so many of them have come out and said, every time I go on stage, I do a little thing, and then something takes over me and I become. They're telling you straight up. They're telling you straight up. But now they've given them so much money. They see them on television. They're stars. It's the same thing with sports. It's the ultimate absolute nothing. Who cares if a bunch of dudes are dressed up in tight clothes chasing around a ball?
Yeah.
And people absolutely lose their entire mind over it. It divides people. They figured out so many methods to divide the American people and the people of the world. It's astounding to me, man. It's totally astounding. I had no idea. I posted this up here. Talmudic Zionists rule that place. I just saw that. I'm like, who did that? That's crazy. I didn't even see I did it. Whatever. I guess I just did it again. Oops, I did it again.
We don't want to angry the rabbi and the machine, for sure.
No, we do not want that. Not at all.
Hey, and speaking off of what you brought up, Richie, you can take this all the way back to Greece when women weren't allowed to be thespians, actors, right? And even go back to the Etruscan period where the persona, the actors, the hypocritos, that's where your word hypocrites come from, which means actor, right? These people were not allowed to participate in any of the decisions of the state. And this is how unrespected these people were, because they were considered two-faced. They weren't allowed to bring their pretentious nature into the realm of adulthood, I should say, grown-ups, right? Because they couldn't be trusted. And now we live in a society today, and unfortunately, folks, don't take this the wrong way, but we have women and children running our country like this right here, but that's not a woman. This is the cult of Sybil. These are these divine hermaphrodites playing the role of, and it's really what they're doing is they're destroying both pillars, right? So you have the male pillar, you have the female. These are actual natural deals. They're destroying what it means to be a woman, and they're destroying what it means to be a male, and it's joined in this divine hermaphroditic thing that's demon possessed. I don't know. That might be Legion inside this thing right here.
I almost mirrored this, but I didn't want to take away from your channel. So let me see if we can play this and if they can hear the audio and you can talk about this. This is insane. I didn't even know this lady existed.
Me neither. I didn't even know
this is Trump's spiritual advisor. This lady's talking in ridiculous tongues. Yeah. Let me see if this plays the audio. I'm not sure if it will. It should. But this is Donald Trump's spiritual advisor, correct?
Mm-hmm. Wherever I go, God rules. When I walk on White House grounds, God walks on White House grounds. I had every right and authority to declare the White House as holy ground because I was standing there, and where I stand is holy.
To say no to President Trump would be saying no to God. And I won't do that.
We are in a spiritual war right now. Let every demonic network that has aligned itself against the purpose, against the calling of President Trump, let it be broken. Let it be torn down in the name of Jesus.
I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are. The thoughts of the King of Kings. The thoughts of the Lord of Lords. I'm downloading heaven.
Don't let that spell cast on you, folks.
Speaking of that, that was the exact reason that I did the Lord's Prayer before I started the video yesterday. And I just kind of want to jump into that real quick for that exact reason, for real. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
I don't know what else to say besides amen. And it's such an old habit, and I know it's got to be wrong. But I'll tell you what, I watched a live stream yesterday. I was listening to it. And what they did is they played this Will Ferrell. Did you see this, dude?
Mm-mm.
The comedian Will Ferrell did a complete and total comedy skit where he did a satanic invocation, and the YouTuber played it and didn't say a prayer of protection before it. You have to do that. I've done. If you go back in all my videos, if I show my subscribers demonic sigils before I do it, we pray. If I show them something like this where somebody busts out in tongues, we pray, because you have to. Because if you're watching it, if you're not paying attention, you're not wearing the full armor of God for real, it's on. You know what I'm saying? So there's that.
This is spell casting, Richie, and what they are doing is casting. Listen, folks, I know it's hard to understand, but the act of spelling is the words. This is how they understand the importance of words and what they mean. And that's exactly what this Baphomet Solvet Coagula, I'm pretty sure he is, but whatever it is, listen, when this goes all the way back to ancient times. When they're able to pull this off in front of you, this is considered like a rank for a lieutenant. This is powerful stuff. Go ahead and crank it back up and let it finish. I want them to see this, because
all right, like I said, I didn't want to. Too many YouTubers, you'll put up a video and then someone will come along, maybe even trying to do the right thing, but then they'll mirror it. It's like, dude, at least let the video stay up for a day before you grab it. You know what I mean?
Anything on my channel, and look, listen, that's for anybody. Anybody wants to share or mirror anything on my channel, it's free to have.
I'll tell you what, for everybody that's listening right now, if you guys don't follow Brandon's channel, if you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't have to. The reason he's on with me as often as he is because I listen to his videos, and at the beginning, I'm like, oh, this kid's just going to start preaching that old down south stuff that I don't understand and blah, blah, blah. He started breaking down the words that we use every day. And then he started breaking down the words in the laws that are used against us every day. And I'm like, oh my, like this dude's on it. This dude is totally on it. And he's also completely grounded in the word of God. And if you're not right now, this is the wrong channel for you. I don't know what to tell you. So there's that. But listen to this.
I kind of know him a little bit cute, all right? I am someone who is pretty. Well, maybe I'm not going to be pretty when I'm 90 years old.
Here's this former messed up Mississippi girl who lived in a trailer that they called trailer trash. Daddy committed suicide, got pregnant out of wedlock, been married, been divorced, not just once, twice.
People go, well, how'd you become the spiritual advisor of the president? We'll get to that later. It's all in there. Michael Jackson, Kid Rock, the president, it's all in there, all right?
Thank you, Paula. What a great job you do. The evangelicals. I hear we're more popular than ever with the evangelicals. You're the only one, and she'll tell the truth. She'll only tell the truth.
Southern California is looking at, well, there's already law that's passed through the governor that says the Bible is a book of hate speech and to ban the sale of it. Snapchat was created as the largest human trafficking because the greatest people on there were human traffickers because the FBI and because intelligence could not do it because it's live and it's real time and they can track your kid in less than a second and take them.
There's a Department of Treasury in heaven that God is watching over everything you do. And you are storing up eternal treasure that will go so far beyond, I think, that we could even begin to imagine. You need to send in $3,500. You need to send in $35,000. You need to send in that $100,000 check. If you do not write that P.O. box and you do not call that toll-free number and you do not become a ministry of sustainer, you will never see sustainment in your life and your dream will die. Your call will die. Here he is, the nominee. That has to be providence. That has to be the hand of God, in my opinion.
And any tongue that rises against him will be condemned according to the word of God. It is God that raises up a king. It is God that sets one down. And so when you fight against the plan of God, you're fighting against the hand of God. We get two more. We will be able to overturn demonic laws and decrees that has held this nation in captivity.
I can tell you that our president is doing absolutely phenomenal, that he is in great health every way. Huge history buff. It's like he understands that which has been and that which will be.
Thank you for your courageous and bold stand for religious liberty and for your timeless service to all Americans. We appreciate the price that you have paid. To walk in the high calling, history will record the greatness that you have brought for generations. And so you sit back and go, well, yeah, man, she crazy. She up there, she up there in the White House praying. You better believe I'm praying. You better believe I'm up there saying in the name of Jesus. You better believe that I'm walking around those parameters saying I lift us up and I dedicate every ounce of this place as holy ground. I release angels right now in the Holy Spirit and walls of fire. I burn up every demonic altar in the name of Jesus and I call it to crumble. Hey!
Yeah. Oh man, that's just
what the dude. That was insanity. And you know how many millions and millions and millions of people that really think they're following Christ believe that?
Well, I'll first off, that when I did a live stream the other day, I want to pray for. I always pray for these people, but the truth is that this is the other Christ that they keep talking about, and you can set this apart and decide it very quickly. They're talking about you cannot serve two masters, right? And when she says, when I stand on holy ground and all that stuff, what she's really talking about is the backing of Rome. You know, this is the political systems of men. This is the kingdoms of men. This is the beast system. So, and listen, just like you brought up earlier with Aleister Crowley, right? The law of reversal. So when she's talking about tearing down the demonic altars, who is she really talking about? She's talking about Yah's law system and Yahushua, right? She's talking about the real, what people would say, the real Jesus, the one of the Bible, not the one of our own imaginations, right? The one, the cosmic Christ that do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. This is this inversion, and once you can see it, this talking about this treasury in heaven and everything else. You really think the creator of all things cares about pieces of paper? Come on, man.
But Brandon, for time immemorial, how many people have earnestly and honestly and hopelessly sent thousands of dollars to dudes up there like, God's going to kill me tomorrow if you don't send me at least everything that you have and then borrow some? And they did. It's just been going on forever, man.
And we should, and listen, I want to make this point very clear. We should be praying for these lost brothers and sisters who their eyes are scaled over. You know, I pray for these people every day. Every day I pray for the enemy like we should. And it's hard. It
is hard, dude. That's the toughest pill to swallow is love thy enemy. And I try, but you're absolutely right. You're totally right.
It's one of the
about this dozens and dozens of times.
It is, because look, our hearts can't harden over, right? Because once your heart hardens over, you're actually working on the other side. We have to have empathy. We must love, because love is the complete dispelment of fear. When you operate in pure love, you have no fear anymore, and that's really what the system is set up to do. To bring you in. Of course, if you don't pay, you're not getting into heaven and all this other stuff. It's all based on fear. That's not the true gospel, folks. It just isn't. But here's the flip side to this, folks. We are called to be watchmen on the wall. And if I do not tell you that there's another doctrine going on, or warn and make that sound, ring that bell, blow that trumpet, sound that alarm, you know, then at that time the watchman is found guilty for not saving the people. So we can judge people by their fruits. It's not what goes into the mouth, but what comes out of the mouth. And right there, if you cannot discern what doctrine this lady or thing is pushing and how she is tricking the masses, well, then you're sadly mistaken, and that's up to the watchman to call out, or anybody. And everybody can be a watchman, by the way. It's the fruits are evident, and we are to judge off the fruits, folks. This whole thing about we can't judge anything at all. I can't judge your heart whether you're a true conversion. I don't have that ability. It's not in me. But I can judge the fruits and look at what your fruits and what your words and your actions are doing, and make a decision of my own whether you're a true conversion or not. But I can also always tell whether you're pushing doctrines of demons, and that's a doctrine of demons right there.
Well said. Definitely well said. One of the proudest things that I've ever done, for whatever reason, videotaping the skies with a really crappy cell phone 10 years turned into this. And I have a lot of followers. And I've always told people over the years, just make a video. It doesn't matter. Spread the word. If we flood the internet, they're going to have to take notice. And it happened. And they did. No. I didn't think they would take notice where all of a sudden YouTube just decided they didn't want to make money anymore. It was more important shutting us up. But the point is, we knew we weren't wrong. On a lot of things, we weren't wrong. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I got you completely. And give someone like me. I watched Nicholson, Illuminati, then you, Anthony Patch, and it wasn't me who ever decided to put anything on YouTube. My wife and my best friend finally said, "Hey, man, you need to be recording these things." There's a whole year of us having Bible studies that's not even recorded. because I didn't think anybody wanted to know it. And you never know, folks. I stayed at 50 subscribers for 14 months. Do something. This is the least I feel that I can do to try to reach people. And it'll come around, folks. We need more of us doing this, and then sticking together and quitting letting small differences divide us. That's one of the big things that happens, right? If you don't think 100% the way of somebody else, they call you a shield. But the truth is that the shields are placed there, folks. By their fruits, you'll eventually know them too. There's a couple subjects that most men and women aren't going to talk about on the real side, and that's going to be the Talmud, and then the actual operation of this system and how it truly operates through your consent, and that we're all 14th Amendment slaves already. But anyway, go ahead, Richie. I can.
Well, people, there's most of the big YouTubers that have managed to somehow stay in good graces will not talk about Israel ever. They just won't, because as soon as you hit that publish button, you just roll the dice. It's coming. You put up a video like I did on the Talmud. Yeah. It might stay up for a day on its own. They may not take your channel down, but it will be blocked and banned in every country. And that's exactly what just happened the other day. So every time I have you on, I'm pretty much expecting to get hit, because I know you're going to go into one of your tirades.
Well, no,
I heard you were on a hate website.
Yeah. Well, I had a talk to a subscriber last night, and I've been doing a lot of contemplation on how to move forward with this, because one of the things I have noticed when bringing up the JQ with men and women out in the that are in the masses is that
I don't know what JQ means, dude.
That's the Jew question.
All right. What a dope! I'm unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Go ahead.
So when you bring this up, the programming is so deep on this. It's one of the deeper programmings that I witness in most men and women. When you bring it up, the cognitive dissonance instantly hits. So I've been, and you can't take the Talmud. Listen, folks, you can't go show somebody the Talmud off the rip that knows nothing about the Israel and how they operate, and the rabbis and the Sabbatarian Frankists, and say, hey, look. This is what nobody's going to believe that, it's too much too quick. So I've been trying to figure different routes of maneuvering our way through that.
Well, here, you just ask me. I'll tell you how to get around it. For the most part, try not to catch yourself saying things that can be clipped and quoted in another video.
Yeah,
like, I'll never change. I ended up on a website and I won't. You just be cautious with that, because that can turn into a video where it makes it look like you're saying something completely different. But you can't change. Just how about this? If you're about to say something and you censor yourself and it feels wrong, it's wrong. Right. You know what I mean? I think you're doing a killer job, brother. Killer. So there's not too many channels I listen to whatsoever at all. And I'm finding myself using your material because it's good material, stuff I didn't know. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's good stuff. When I made that video after I first listened to all your stuff, I don't even know if I had talked to you as of yet. And I said, this video is going to piss off all you Constitution-loving people. Guess what? They wrote it, just not for us. Well, they did write it. And just like Cooper said, they wrote in a back door. If it worked, we were going to build the New World Order willingly.
That's right.
If we started waking up, they wrote it in there so they could just take everything away and make the New World Order anyways. It was the entire United States it was an experiment. It was a Freemasonic experiment. It wasn't an accident that George Washington has painted the apotheosis on the you know what I'm saying?
There's no accident. And what happened to the first 9 presidents before him? And of course, they wrote in the Emergency War Powers Act to it. And from that point on, after the Emergency War Powers Act and the treason that Abraham Lincoln committed by reconvening Congress at gunpoint, it's been downhill since, right? Because you don't have a de jure government, you have a de facto corporation. And of course, what the trick is is that people think the Constitution is for them, but the Constitution is a limitation of governmental powers. And what it is administrative duties for the government to govern the government. And so what has happened, we've all been tricked to become government employees. And instead of having the unalienable rights given by the Creator, we've accepted the privileges and obligations from the state.
Right. And I mean, I'm literally outside. It's pouring rain out. And I'm trying to jam my axles in my truck. And I'm listening to you. And when you went over that, I'm like, son of a bitch, he's absolutely right. You know what I mean? God given, we're Americans. Well, we're Americans with a big rule book. God gave us a very easy rule book. And it's not all that hard. Don't kill anybody. Don't steal. Don't be peeking through the windows at your neighbor's wife. You know what I mean? It was pretty straightforward and easy. And now laws, I mean, every single solitary day, look it up. Maybe I'll do a video, but I'll probably forget. Every single day, no matter how you're living, even if you're the perfect New World Order citizen, there are enough laws on the books that every American person is breaking 3 felonies, and all this information, Snapchat, Twitter, all of that is gathering everything. And at any time they decide to pull your card, like Richie from Boston, we have had it with that kid. He just doesn't shut up. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Here's they got you. They got you.
Well, they had to do it the back door, though, because when the America started, one of the best books I've ever read was letters from sent home from the Civil War. These were farmers, blacksmiths, and everything else. These men and women could articulate a letter better than the finest lawyer today. And that's because the Bible was on the mantle and a copy of the American jurisprudence. Everybody knew the law. They knew you ask anybody now coming out of college, hey, what's the law? I have no clue. Go get a lawyer. But everybody then knew it, and you had to slowly degrade that level of knowledge and intelligence out of a society. And what is left is what we are today, a society completely ignorant of the machinations of the system. And once you're ignorant of how it actually operates, you have machinations. That's right. You like that, Massachusetts. Hey.
Real quick. On that same vein you were talking about, the Civil War guys writing on the same level as what we would consider a legal mind. I've pushed James Corbett, the Corbett Reports videos, the 2 documentaries. I mean, he's got a lot of great ones. James is a dork. I can't stand like he put a video up today and he's talking and he's being sarcastic the whole time. And I can't stand his voice. I would choke him to death if we were in the same room. Sorry, James. At any rate, he's got 2 video documentaries, How Big Oil and Why Big Oil Conquered the World. And he explains in it that back in the late 1800s, the reading, writing, arithmetic, the levels were through the roof. Mm-hmm. And then the same oil barons, which were also criminals, rapists, etc., Rockefellers, Rothschilds, all these people, these same people slowly worked their way into the public education system and actually created the public education system and made sure that that all went away. They didn't need any more lawyers. They had all the people they would want to pick from, the people that go to private schools, that go to Harvard, that go to Yale, the secret societies, etc. It explains it very, very well. But back in the day, I mean, tell them about Christopher Columbus, for instance.
Well, he wasn't. That's in 1885. Everybody in the United States knew he didn't discover America. As a matter of fact, it was they had given that to Lucky Leaf Erikson. I think that's what his name was. There was Viking outposts all over the eastern seaboard,
and there's evidence of it, brother. There's ruins in rocks that I've taken pictures of. But go ahead.
That's right, and of course this was taught in an 8th grade exit exam from the rural farm town of Kansas, and we have this evidence everywhere that men and women knew their history, and of course this is evidenced by Karl Marx. Right, keep a man from his history, and they are easily controlled. And of course that's just the nature of this beast system, is to dumb us down and corporatize everything. And what they've really done is come in and steal all the wealth that the Father has given to us to live off of, and now we have to pay like little slaves to live here. It's crazy.
We're the only species on the planet that God gave us dominion over the earth, and we're the only thing on the planet that pays to live here. You have to pay to live here. It's unbelievable. Real quick, somebody just put a question up here. I had it up there for a long amount of time. It said Bill Cooper was not awoke. He wasn't woke on the JQ, the Jew question. Well, here's the deal. I talked about this last night too. I know, dude, organic mechanic, calm down. I'm 52 years old. I grew up with the word planet. Sometimes I take it. You don't have to comment and freak out. It is what it is. At any rate, squirrels.
Yeah.
At any rate, it happens to all of us, dude. We're all ingesting all sorts of stuff to make us not be able to concentrate. So it's difficult doing this, talking and blah, blah, blahing. Let me tell you something. Bill Cooper was in the Navy, according to his story, and I'm going to take it for what it's worth, and saw a spaceship come out of the water in a way that no mechanical device made by man could possibly do. Therefore, he said, aliens. Later on down the line, most people apparently just don't listen to those documentaries. He said they're interdimensional. They're not interstellar. They're interdimensional. So he switched it. He manned up and changed his mind, which you can do because he was presented with more information. If Bill Cooper wasn't murdered for telling everybody that 9/11 was going to happen and they were going to blame it on Osama bin Laden because nobody else did, just him, and then it happened and then they killed him a month and a half later, if he was still alive, he'd probably be on the same page as us now. But Brandon and I and many others have had the luxury of being alive still, and we've seen all this stuff because nobody thought Israel was the bad guy that's coming right out of the womb. You know what I mean? It took us a while to finally figure it out, and now they're not even hiding it. So cut the guy some slack because he was an American hero in my personal opinion.
Well, and look, let's do this, right? I had a guy message me the other day, and he said, Brandon, you know, I really doubted you for so long. But I've been watching your videos for the last 4 months, and everything you have said, I've went to go check and verify for myself. And he ended up telling me, "Hey, look, thank you so much for helping me in this." But the point I want to make right here is, hey, listen, folks, if you think a man or a woman is going to be 100% correct all the time, you're looking at the wrong people. We're just not perfect. But here's the thing: take the good. There is no lie that cannot stick without some truth to it. That's the way the deception works, folks. Discernment is the key, and the way that you gain discernment is through knowledge. Leave whatever is bad, take the good, and don't always look for confirmation bias. Go to the hard truths that make you uncover something within yourself. You can find something good. I give it a perfect example. I still listen to Crow 777 sometimes, even though him and Jason I don't agree with ideologically.
Well,
but
I know Crow, and I think we've spoken about this. And if Crow or Jason are listening, it's fine. But I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Too many times they look down their nose at people that believe in Christ like, oh, come on, that was written. And then on the other hand, they both push Buddhism.
Right.
Big time.
Which is a variation. And of course, but it shows their lack of understanding of what's actually written in the Bible. But of course, that's a lack of understanding of most people, right? What's actually written in there and what it actually means. But either way, I can still listen to them or Max Egan from time to time and catch something that I didn't know beforehand. And guys, that's something I want to get across to us people. I haven't watched Stephen Benoon in a while. There's that squirrel. You got me.
Yeah, I haven't listened to him since the time Anthony and Patch and I did a show on. We were talking about Hillary and how she was doing. She was pushing Saul Alinsky and that whole thing. And then Steve's wife came out and did a video, and she said everything word for word that I said in the video, except she said it. So it didn't sound like me, but it was still complete plagiarism. And I'm like, what a dick. And I'm very, very reluctant of anybody that's in another country. It is what it is. There was a lot of YouTubers. That woman, I can't think of her name right now. but she did phenomenal videos. And then every once in a while, her accent would slip and she sounded like a Russian woman. And then she'd go back to talking like a very well-educated. Just be careful. Just be careful. There's nobody that could possibly sound, hey, I'm going to go trick people by sounding like I'm from Alabama or I'm from Boston. You know, it's what it is. At any rate. All right, let me show you this other one real quick and see what you are you noticing that absolutely everywhere you look, scientists are coming out and saying we need to get rid of more people. We need more people. I mean, this is in every single publication, everywhere you look. Yahoo News. We've got to get rid of people right now. It's an emergency. Global warming is off the hook, even though it's freezing out all over the country because they're spraying the skies. Yeah, we've got 27-degree weather coming here Tuesday, Richie, and that is unheard of for down here. As a matter of fact, to give you a correlation to that, we didn't freeze one time last year here, but every so often they've been hard at the geoengineering this whole week. I mean, every day I could count hundreds of planes in the sky. I saw a post by Bill Meyer that somebody retweeted on Twitter today about how we need to start killing more people, and this is just open. Right? Yeah, that's right. I saw that too. And openly killing more infants, openly, and of course, this is the push. Right, we're killing ourselves with this transgenderism, transhumanism. They know the agenda to do this, and this is just again. The ignorance of the populace to think that these events are natural when they just aren't. We can look up. All you have to do is look up, man, and pay attention. And of course, then you correlate that with your refineries, like here, the ground to air surface coolers, which pump out. So, did you see the video I caught on my last road trip? I was down. Well, maybe I wasn't down that south. Huge storm fronts coming in, and I drove by 2 factories down south. I've got it on video. I've put them up where they're just pumping it out. They do. I can see right from my window right here. There's a trash recycling place or something. It doesn't make a puff of smoke all week unless a massive storm front's coming, and then it just sits there and belches. I mean, I've got it on video all day long. It's insane. I can't remember who did it. There's a documentary somewhere online about the global power grid, and that this is how you know the new Weather Wars 101 or something like that. Hey, man, I don't know where she went, or I don't know if she was a man or a woman, but she was a dude. I had words with him one time. Yeah, he's disappeared. Now he was ahead of his time, wasn't he? Yep. I'd have to say he was probably a weather. I think the reason he disappeared is because he was so good at making videos because it was his job. The weather was his not making videos to deceive. The weather was his job, and they probably said, "Listen, stop the videos or everything stops." But speaking of what you're talking about right now, this just popped up, and they're talking about spraying it out at sea. The Harvard School of Engineering and Applied Scientists, SEAS, in collaboration with MIT and Princeton. Now, remember, MIT's right down the street. I've went and taken pictures. MIT has Darwin carved right in the side. A giant theory has suddenly become carved in stone. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? It's the new science, man. It completely blows me away. I loved science as a kid. I still do, but there's no more testing and repeating. It's just spreading rumors and using the military and the media. Well, you take likable actors like Tyson and all these other people, and it's really just theater around the outside. It's just to show Bill Nye, for example. But yeah, the Michio Kaku, and it goes back to the Nikola Tesla quote, right? These new scientists write on chalkboards all day long, equation after equation, and forget what they see with their eyes. Indeed. This guy has been behind it since day one. I've got video from him from 3 years ago going, chemtrails, oh, come on. People would blocking out the sun. That's just ridiculous. That's like vaccines and everything else. And now I've actually got him on his own website going, well, we're going to start experimenting with blocking out the sun and bouncing it into outer space, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I've made videos over the years showing you guys Science goes all the way back. Science always started out with black magic and occult practices and alchemy, etc., and it still goes on to this very day.
Well, yeah, you know, they see, they hold the natural sciences and how they actually work, right? They hold that stuff to the chest because it's natural. And what they do is they blast this image of fake theory and everything else to the masses. And then of course that's part of your compartmentalization of all aspects of life. If you don't ever see the forest because you're standing right in front of the tree, and that's why nobody realizes what they're a part of. But yeah, they actually know how the world operates and how alchemical process works and how metals work with each other and all these things. That's but what we have.
There's a reason they're spraying incredibly heavy materials into the atmosphere. You know what I mean?
There's no doubt.
Funny too, because if you look up what I don't know anybody. I don't know Dane Wigington. I don't know anybody from any of the serious research channels, chemtrails, any of that stuff that have gotten a recent accurate water test, because that stopped a long time ago. No lab will do it. They just will not do it. But we got barium, strontium, aluminum, like back in I want to say, I don't know, 2013 maybe. All the base metals that were in the water from places that were pristine. There's no place around that should be contaminating these water sources. It was basically spraying thermite in the atmosphere.
Yeah, that was Mount Shasta. I think
that was one of them. But Mount Shasta would be pristine, man.
Yeah,
pristine.
I remember seeing that, reading that, and of course that's right. Right after that, you couldn't get any water tester to test any water. I can't remember who that was, but yeah, Matt, I remember that. And then you had the one in Ireland too, where that web was coming to the ground that they were.
I ran that a couple of times. That guy that got that, I can't find him anymore. Yeah, I was in contact with him for like 2 years, and again, I mean, like we've spoken about this before. Some people, they just apply enough pressure. I get it. He's a coward. Let me tell you what. When they start messing with you in the middle of the night, and I mean, you're being tortured like you can't even believe, and there's nobody around.
If you don't have a strong spiritual standing at that point in time, to just say if you don't have that spiritual armor on, this strongness inside, you're going to break down when that happens, because especially if you think this is the only place to live. But yeah, I don't look down on people when that happens, because we are men and women and of human nature, man. It's hard to down somebody when the Gestapo comes knocking on their door.
Indeed. I've looked down the barrel of a gun many times in this lifetime. I'm absolutely not joking, not exaggerating. I don't have to. If you've met me, you know. My mother was the first one to actually put a gun to my head when I was 9. So, you know.
That's funny.
You live what you learn when you grow up. So it doesn't really worry me, but to others, I can understand. Mike Decker said, Mike, if you still have that here test, can you hit me up and we'll do a live stream? We can show that if that's possible. And someone else is showing it too, because he's saying Mike's got a lot of hair. So there's a lot of testing going on there. Overloaded with barium, strontium, etc. Mike's been a trooper, man. He stays on it. The skies out where he lives are large. So it makes it even more obvious when they start spraying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ooh, that rhymed. We should become a rapper. Me and you, 2 white rappers. Something like that. I don't know. At any rate, listen to this real quick. I got to show you these 2 more stories, and I'll let you roll out, because I know you just came right in. Check this out. All right, let's start with this real quick. Let me get rid of this. I just added that. Let me get rid of this. Oh, come on. I found out that StreamYard's run by like some long-haired pot-smoking kid.
Really?
Yeah, he just did the whole thing on his own. So here we go. This makes perfect sense. A lesbian priest, because, you know, America. Lesbian priest tapped a head major abortion group, calls abortionists modern-day saints. Saints. That's phenomenal. Look at these 2 fellas. Good-looking guys right there. That looks like, I don't even, dude.
Yeah, definitely. And see,
okay. Go ahead. Have at it. Have at it.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff pushed from the pulpit, but this is the infiltration at all levels of what we call the church, and this has been allowed to happen because the church gave up its true power and rights as the ecclesia to get mammon. And the saddest part about it, no church ever had to be a 501c3 corporation. They were already tax exempt. But this is what happens. This is the natural flow of things. This is the destruction of all things pure. I mean, nothing is sacred to these animals, and really, that's what they are. They have a deep-seated hatred for all of humanity. And I shouldn't use the word humanity. I should say mankind. We'll get into that another day. But yeah, they hate all life. This is a hatred of life, man.
Okay, so check this out. This happens all the time, but this is in Rome right now. This is insane because this is Magog. Am I sharing? Where did I just go with it? Stand by.
I see it.
Can you?
Yeah.
But I lost it. Got it. All right. So on November 6, 2019, a reconstruction of a pagan idol who demanded child sacrifice was stationed at the entrance of Rome's Colosseum as part of a secular historical exhibition. The presence of the idol raised particular concern among Catholics as it was erected 9 days before the Amazon Synod and the subsequent scandal over the veneration of Pachamama idol at the Vatican. The statue of Molech, worshipped by the Canaanites and Phoenicians, is part of an exhibit dedicated to ancient Rome's once great rival. I love how they word it like, hey, we need to do this because we're trying to literally resurrect the beast system full time, and we have to put these idols in particular places like back in days of old, etc. And people just buy it, man. They just buy it.
Yeah, they do, man. And there's your little Carthaginian mask wearers on the left of him too. They like putting that in there too, show you that you're a bunch of personas acting as acting. You know, it's not even hidden. This is Alice P. Bailey's revelation of the method, man. And this is part of your predictive programming and your consent. And that's exactly what it is, because they've shown it to you and they continue to show it to us. And we say, okay, it doesn't really bother me that much.
In the last 4 years, it has been rampant with the ceremonies, the Gothard Tunnel ceremony, CERN's nonstop social media. I mean, they're constantly on social media talking about stairways to heaven, and then the Arch of Triumphs all over the world. You know what I mean? All over the flat plane with a dome over it. Because I didn't want to say planet by accident. You know what I mean? Because that would mean that my cover was slipping or whatever. Yeah, I mean, these guys are not hiding it whatsoever at all anymore. And for the most part, they're sitting back going, we did amazing. These people just don't pick up anything. And then someone's like, well, yeah, talk to Susan, because YouTube, those people are still over there quacking. Well, don't worry. We got a new update coming on the algorithm December 10th. So we'll shut them all up for good and forever. So there's that, but they're not hiding it anymore. I never thought it was going to be this absolutely flagrant in my lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, I never saw this coming.
Yeah. And you know, what's happened with society is nobody has that rock, that foundation that they're set on. Everybody's blown around with the wind and the waves, and nobody has, I liken him to a wise man who has built his house upon a rock, right? These spiritual truths that most people have forgotten. We don't have these things anymore. Nobody has any type of foundation. You'll see these program responses all over social media. You know, it's 2019. You can be whatever you want to be. Well, what happened in 2019 that changed the laws of nature and changed the truth into a lie? It's just amazing to be alive in this time. And I tell anybody out there that's feeling alone or feeling down and trodden, don't, man. Be glad, for many are called, few are chosen. Be happy that you see the world for what it is, and just know that this is just, it's going to continue to happen, folks. But we can stand up for the truth at all costs and never back down, never run, and just be ambassadors of righteousness in this time.
Do no harm and be ready. Do not allow yourself to become a victim, because we've watched it happen too many times. Maybe it's because I'm from the Northeast and I've seen them shut it down so many times and make people shelter in place, and you're not allowed to go to your home and you're not allowed to drive because we might have bad weather tomorrow. And you know what? It's going to snow in a couple of days. So the military's here now. The military's here now in a town with 2,500. That's complete and total bullshit. And they let it slide. It keeps going and it keeps going. And then all of a sudden, you know what? Somebody got sick from something, so we're going to ban vaping. And you know what? Now we're going to ban it nationwide. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me since I was 19 and I picked up that first cigarette and got a head rush. I was like, you can get high from these? These are amazing. 2 packs a day for the rest of my life. Even while I was in the military, I was the jerk off with chewing tobacco in my lip with a drill sergeant in my face, denying I had chewing tobacco in my lip, which means I had to swallow it, which was phenomenal. Vaping got me to quit smoking. I can run. I can climb a mountain. It's amazing. It's amazing. They're going to ban it. Well, wait till they ban going to grocery stores, or wait till they ban talking to your children, or ban whatever else they want. They're pushing the limits and no one's pushing back.
I'm glad you brought this up. You know, Kamala Harris is pushing for public schools to be open to until the PM hours. I saw I saw this yesterday, and it's kind of funny. My wife sent me that. I've been talking about this for the last few weeks, and that's how they get to these children. And they don't want you imprinting anything in they and of course this gets back into the doctrine of parents patria, right? They really are, once we sign them over to the system, they believe they are the parents. The state is the parent anyway.
It's always been the plan. It's not something new.
No,
when you're talking about teaching your kids how to tie knots, these are things that I'm showing people on the other channel, because I carry cards in my wallet for particular knots, because knowing how to tie a knot can literally save your life. It can save you in a lot of situations. If you ever want to get a video of you skinning the fish, send it to me and I'll run it on my channel, brother. Without a doubt. I don't know how to do it. You're going to have to show me. I'm coming down. I might be down in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'll end up doing some of that. I didn't think people would really want to see that stuff, but yeah, you know, you don't realize how much you can use these things until you actually need to know how to do them, and then you don't have that knowledge.
It's only been 80, 100 years in the scheme of things. It's not all that long. I'm 52, dude. So that's half 100 years. It hasn't been all that long of a ride. It doesn't seem like. But 100 years ago, if people saw us, everything we get comes from a fast food or from a grocery store. When those things shut down, what do you do?
Yeah,
do you know how to hunt? Do you know how to ski? Like, people don't know how to do that. And most people don't even live in an area where they could even do it anyways, if they even had the implements or the skill set to do it. Well, when I'm off in my truck, when I spend 6 months of the year in the woods by myself, that's what I'm doing. It's what I've been doing the entire time since before I even started this stupid channel. So there's that. Go ahead.
And I'm sure that it's probably like when I was a kid here, there were so many public access ways to the water, into ponds, into lakes, and the dams. And now just about every single, you have actual canals that I fished as a child that you can't even go in. They've got gates across them because such and such oil company owns the right of the waterways.
That's right.
It's unbelievable to see how much restriction has come and regulation has come, and yet people want to go pop fireworks on July 4th, talk about I'm free.
Well, we're not allowed to have fireworks in Massachusetts at all. Every 4th of July, enjoy your freedom. Remember, fireworks are illegal. It's just such a ridiculous irony right in your face. But check this out. A bunch of my subscribers, you may have gotten some too, where I was getting emails and people were freaking out and I wasn't really getting it. Hey, just got back from Mexico, just crossed the border, etc. Just so you know, they're down here being trained with the United States military at the border crossings. I didn't think much of it. I get a lot of crazy looking emails. I'm not saying they're crazy, but you know, they look crazy. My neighbor comes home. I'm like, dude, where you been? Oh, I went down to Mexico. How was it? He's like, well, getting back over the border sucked because the military was there. I said, the Mexicans? He said, no, the United States. 2 days later, 9 people, 9 Mormons massacred by the cartels.
Yeah.
Then they changed the headline to 3 mothers and 6 children. Because 9 people dead, that's no fun. You can't, where's the 666?
Yeah.
3 mothers, 6 children.
Well, you do have 6. You do
let me finish this. Let me remind you that when Mitt Romney was running for president, he told everybody how his father came from Mexico. In order to get away with their wacky religion of Mormonism, which is Freemasonic and magic underwear and every other crazy thing, and Baphomet and upside down stars all over their temples. And I go to Moab a lot. Remember this, so I'm probably going to get shot next time I'm there. But these people moved from the United States down into Mexico so they could continue marrying as many people as they wanted, having sex with underage kids, doing whatever else it was they were doing. And when you're white and you have the money to relocate so you can continue doing your illegal lifestyle or whatever, following the, the Mormonism stuff, you're going to run into people that are dirt poor. And they started fighting. It's been going on for time immemorial. I find it strange that all of a sudden I'm getting all these emails that the military is training at the border, and then suddenly we have an event.
Yeah. And that's
the poor Mormons were slaughtered. They were massacred, Brandon. They were massacred.
Yeah, and that's why I bring up the people's awareness for tomorrow, right? Because all these anytime you have our military and these crisis actor things, but I also want to tell you this, Richie. Anytime you see the number 9, it's an actual full reduction of 666. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 can represent 666 at all times.
I was already I think Nicholson taught me that a long time ago, and I forgot. So
yeah, it's a full reduction. If you do the full reduction, 9 represents 666. But yeah, these things, right? It just anytime something gets major news coverage, it's because they want it to be had. That's like the guy who killed just at a local bar up here, killed 3 people up here. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't fit. It didn't fit the narrative, right? It just these things, and even if they're real, they'll use them to their agenda.
Exactly. All right, brother. We've been going for 90, so I'm going to run this. I think we're going to shut this down.
I'm good, brother.
Yeah. All right. You sure you got nothing else? You good?
I'm good, buddy. I think we rolled pretty hard tonight.
Yeah, we definitely did, man. Let me just jump in the chat real quick. Oh, here's one thing. I just want to say thank you to Susan Donahue, Dan Ellerton, Mile High Scribs, and Elaine Lennon. You know why. And nobody else does. How do you like them apples? Christine K. This guy's getting killed. He put up Mandela Effect. Check my channel, and YouTube censored him just now. Because I Love Me, Ibster Irk, Rebecca Fink. Don't let people bother you, man. It's trolls, Rebecca. Don't stress it. Broken Reality, Fallout Shelter, Waters Above, Jesse James, Organic Mechanic, Seek and Ye Shall Find, and most of all, Brandon, I appreciate you making it home and jumping on the mic. Go live your life, guys. Vaping is illegal in West Virginia. Oh, Washington. Washington sucks anyways. I'm out.